Overwatch 2 beta review. Is this Mission Impossible for Blizzard, or can they actually turn this around, and is it going to be beautiful? Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa. So it will come as no surprise that viewing figures after the glorious beta key drop event have absolutely tanked. This is the viewers right now, the very time I am recording this video, which is 22:45 in the evening in the UK on a Monday, which would pretty much be, don't want to say prime time, but that should be, should be more viewers, right? If people were interested. Now, Twitch viewership isn't everything. We've been over this before. There are still tons of people watching videos on YouTube, tons of people play Overwatch, and all of that stuff. But they have dropped. Now, they were super high, and we need to work out what this actually meant for the game. And I think the implication here is pretty simple. Overwatch does have a massive, massive player base. However, that player base is not engaged in any kind of additional content around the game, simply because they're probably burnt out, and they're probably players from years and years ago, back when Overwatch was in fact the hot shit, which it is not at the moment. These are players that want to see new content, so if there is new content, well, I think it's literally as simple as that. They come back to check out the new content. Now, there was a rapid fall-off, and I think this is simply because players are burning through all of the content and all of the changes. Now, these changes, while they are substantial on a foundational level, and they do appear surface level to most players, and that's the problem. Now, on a foundational level, which is a very fancy phrase of just saying anyone who's inside the Overwatch 2 bubble, or the Overwatch bubble, which is everybody watching this video, which is all the content creators, which is all the streamers, and everyone who posts on the forums, posts on Reddit, or whatever, we can appreciate that the changes to the game are substantial. However, from the outside, they look very minimal because the game visually looks the same. All that it, like, to a very casual player, it just looks like you've removed one tank out of the game, and you've made DPS really powerful, you've made supports very vulnerable, and tanks are super crazy. That's what it looks like. Now, we know that's not the case, but that's what it looks like. And yeah, that's probably the reason why most players just dipped in and then dipped out. So from a, can we say casual? I think we're going to say casual. From a casual perspective, yeah, well, the content is very limited in this beta. We know that players love new heroes, they love new game modes, they love new animated shorts, hero reworks, and the beta did have Sojourn, or the beta. I always jump between the two, but whatever, the beta, whatever. It's a hero we've known about for ages, Sojourn is, and, well, I mean, wow, for like 3 years we've known about Sojourn. Not the way she plays, you haven't seen gameplay then, but we knew she was a hero, we knew she was coming to the game. And also, we've seen the maps before. We've seen Push back in 2019. Yeah, the only major shock really for this beta was the Orisa and Doomfist reworks. Yes, there was a Sombra rework, but again, we'd seen that before. And the Bastion rework, again, we'd seen pieces of that. But the Doomfist and Orisa, that was pretty much the headline impact of the beta. Everything else was, well, it was a known quantity. Why did people care about Overwatch 2? Or why do people care about Overwatch 2? There's only one game like Overwatch. Now, you can say, okay, Team Fortress 2, whatever, but go away. Like, I'm just not even going to accept that, or Paladins, or whatever you want to throw out. There is no other game like Overwatch. I ask myself all the time, why do I keep playing this game? Why do I keep making videos on this game? In fact, why did I keep making videos on this game throughout the massive content drought that we've had? I mean, now we are going into like a mini content drought while we wait for this beta phase to close and the next one to open up and new updates to come out of Overwatch and stuff. It's a very weird time, but we're coming off the back of quite a bit of nice content we could all make videos on and stream about and talk about, and that was cool. Like, I'm not denying that. Oh, and by the way, actually, I do want to say this, because there's probably people out there going, why don't you just do it for the money? No, I don't. I do not do YouTube for money. I do it because I like making videos on Overwatch, and that is it. And if something else comes along and I enjoy making videos on that, well, then I'll make videos on that. That's literally it. I don't do this for money. I don't. You can categorically put that on every single record you've got. And in fact, if you do YouTube for money, or streaming for money, or whatever, content creation, you'll be no good at it. That is just the fact of it. You need to enjoy what you're doing. Anyway, that's going on a bit of a tangent, but whatever. In fact, actually, if I wanted to make money, I'd be making Minecraft videos or Fortnite videos. Anyway, why do people care about Overwatch 2? Well, they like new stuff. People love new stuff. And people still like Overwatch enough to come back and see what's going on with the game, what the updates are. But I think this is the biggest problem Overwatch 2 has right now at the moment, and is always going to be a big problem, and I think it's Blizzard. Because this game, if it's going to be a game as a live service, which Aaron Keller came out and said that's what the intention is, it needs to do something Blizzard has never, ever, ever done before, and that is constantly update a game all the time. They have never done this before. They tried with Overwatch through the first year, and I think that's fine, but then obviously it became clear we need to change the monetization of the game. And they decided to make a sequel, and then everything just went to shit. You look at World of Warcraft, it runs on expansion cycles, but it makes money every month because they're getting revenue streams from subscriptions and the stupid pay-to-win WoW token. So they do have ways of making money in those games. They didn't in Overwatch, so they need to change that. So the hope is now that the team behind Overwatch is geared and set up in a way that can actually support this level of content that is required in this modern day and age. And we'll get onto this in a second because I have a whole section on Overwatch 2 content, so I don't want to get too crazy at the moment. I'm going to move on to the next topic for now. Overwatch 2's 5v5. Right, so this is... You either like this or you don't like this, or you're like, okay, fine, it's all right. There's like 3 options, and you can just pick one. Now, 5v5 makes the game faster, and it puts more onus on individual play. This means you've got a chance of popping off more so than in Overwatch 1, because a lot of the time it was heavily dependent on your team. 5v5 also reduces visual clutter for esports viewership, if you care about that. It also reduces the reliance on teammates because you've got one less teammate and one less tank, which means it's easier for DPS to kill stuff. It's easier for supports to heal and throw anti-nades if you're playing Ana. But 6v6 could have been balanced to reduce the dependency on barriers, let's say. I'm still not sure what I feel or how I feel about this change. Now, I think it's better in some ways, and in other ways it's different. It still feels like Overwatch. It just feels very fast. It feels like a layer of strategy has been removed from Overwatch because obviously with the extra tank, things were more tactical, you could argue, more strategical. Is that even a word? I don't know. It is now. But it came down to too many barriers, and you could make an entire argument, and I'd love to see results on actually just removing, well, not removing barriers, but reducing barriers heavily in Overwatch currently in 6v6. Would that change the game? Would that make the game faster? Because if DPS can shoot stuff, then yeah. And just give DPS the movement speed buff, because that does feel really good in Overwatch 2. Just give them that in Overwatch 1. I don't know. There's all these interesting things. Like, I think sometimes 5v5 can be seen as just... you're just doing it for the sake of it, almost. It's like, yeah, look, we've made a change to PvP. But we could have just kept it at 6v6 and gone down that route of balancing the game. Because it was still successful in 6v6, but now it's 5v5. You know, it's very interesting. It's back and forth, back and forth. So I'm not sure we 100% absolutely need 5v5, but I also think that probably too much work has gone into 5v5 now for that to ever change. So it is going to be 5v5 going forward. But yeah, I think casual players just look at this and go, well, you know what? All you've done is deleted a player from PvP. What's this? You're actually taking away from the game, which isn't entirely accurate, but that's kind of what it looks like from the outside. Overwatch 2 balance. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Now, DPS are super duper charged. They're really fun to play in Overwatch 2. I don't think anyone's going to say they're not. There's less crowd control. You move quicker. There's less tanks that block you doing damage. You can just shoot the enemy. You can kill him. It feels great. It does feel really good to play as a DPS. Tanks feel mega powerful as well. Yeah, you're the only tank, so there's a lot of pressure on you to do stuff, but you can carry hardcore. The tank is the most powerful role in the game by far now, because if you pick the right tank to counter what the enemy are doing, you just absolutely win. I mean, I had a game on Route 66, and I was playing Orisa into an Orisa, because everyone plays Orisa, and we were on attack, and we got all the way to the final phase, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just change to Reinhardt, and I literally just walked forward with my barrier, and we won, because they just kept on Orisa. It just meant that my soldier, because obviously everyone's playing soldier at the moment, was just killing everyone from behind my barrier. It was like he was completely, totally OP just because I picked a different tank. Yeah, it's very, very powerful tanking in Overwatch is at the moment, or Overwatch 2, I should probably say. And supports of a playstyle change as well. Now, the thing with supports are they're less heal bots and more they actually support now. So you can do bits of damage. You can try and get use some of your support abilities to support your team attacking the enemy. And yeah, of course, you can heal as well. But the trade-off for this is you don't have the peel of an off-tank. You don't have extra barriers. And yeah, so if the DPS are coming for you, they're coming for you. And you're probably going to get wrecked. Especially if you don't play with line of sight in mind. So you really need to play with geometry of the map. You need to like really hug corners and stuff, not just stand out in the open because you'll get killed. So yeah, the debate is still out on support and whether it feels better or it doesn't. I can tell you for free, Ana feels a lot better to play in Overwatch 2. The other supports, I don't know. Zen is obviously very fragile. He's got his super kick, but does it make much difference? I don't know, but it's cool on the face of it. So I think at the moment the balance has kind of been a mix of like elegant changes and elegant reworks and fun little buffs and stuff like that. So it seems good so far at the moment. But the problem is we know Blizzard have had a really terrible time with balance in the past. So, like, are they going to be able to prevent terrible metas from rising? I mean, honestly, I think when we get new heroes and game modes and fast balance updates, the meta should always be in a kind of state of flux. If you look back since 2019, we've had no heroes really in Overwatch, and that's stalled the meta more than anything, if you ask me. And now we're going into a phase of a lot of upheaval. 5v5, hero reworks, new heroes. The game's totally different. And if they can keep adding that stuff to the game, then I don't think the meta is really going to get stuck in any kind of way. It might do if they do a brig like they did before, where they bring out a hero which is so strong, it just gets played immediately and is in every single comp. That may happen. But then if they're releasing heroes quick, then they can kind of overwrite that, right? So, yeah, balance is always going to be a problem. But I think it can be cured with consistent updates to the game that are meaningful to the game. Overwatch 2 content. Okay, so the main content in this beta so far is as follows. New maps, push game mode, Sojourn, Doom, Orisa, Sombra, Bastion, full reworks, balance changes, 5v5, an upgraded graphics engine, a new UI, new audio, new hero voice lines, time of day changes to old maps. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it, on the face of it? Now, we could go into the whole debate again about the way, on paper, that sounds really impressive, but when people look at it, it just looks like Overwatch, right? Which, you know, you can argue this till the cows come home. You can say, well, the latest Call of Duty just looks like the last Call of Duty. It's like they're all the same. It's like, I mean, you can go down that route, and I don't know. But I think with Overwatch, because there was such a big drought of content, when the content turned up and it looked very similar and it's being packaged as Overwatch 2, it becomes very confusing to viewers because they're like, well, this just looks the same. But here's the thing. We've got to remember this is beta 1, and there will be other betas coming very soon, I hope, that will continue the new content. Now, what will they contain? That is the big question. Will there be new heroes, new support heroes? We really need a new support hero, Blizzard, or maybe 2 or 3 new support heroes. Will we see like the guild system? What about another game mode? What about more hero reworks? You know, more maps. That's what we need to see in these betas. They all need to have a purpose to them, and I'm sure they will, because they know that will bring people back to, want to experience these betas again, check out the game again, and all of that stuff. But here's the problem. Overwatch 2 Beta 1, remember it's the Beta 1, the first one, is a commitment to adding content back into Overwatch PvP. It's nothing to do with PvE. How often can they do this? Like, will they be able to keep the content coming at a fast rate while maintaining quality? Is this Overwatch development team set up to support a live service as a game? What about, like, I mean, I guess the hope is, right, that they were able to change in such a way over the last few years to actually make the team produce good content, increase the output, increase the output of the same good quality content while preventing developers from burning out. And we all know what's happened at Blizzard over the last couple of years. And if you've been living under a rock, I mean, I can give you a quick summary. The management was terrible. The working conditions were horrific. And so, yeah, that's not a very good environment to work in, is it? And most of the good quality developers have left. So, I mean, that's not a slight on the developers that are left. Like, that's, there are obviously exceptional people still left at Blizzard. But when you are seeing leaders of teams leave repeatedly and whole chunks of teams leave, doesn't really inspire confidence, does it? So we have to be realistic and think it's baby steps getting this Overwatch train rolling again. And if they can get it rolling again, then I'm sure people will get stuck into it and we'll start playing the game again. Let's talk about the competition. So you've got Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone, Valorant. All of these games have much larger development teams and they produce more content. Can Overwatch actually realistically compete with them? That's the big question. like modern gaming, especially games as a live service, it's all about player attention. These games, they don't just compete with each other, they compete with everything. So it's all about hours, it's all about watch time, it's all about would you watch Netflix or Disney Plus or log into Overwatch? That's what they're competing with. Or maybe you want to watch Amazon Prime or play Valorant. I don't know. There's this fight for your attention. You've only got so many hours in the day for relaxation and entertainment, and all of these companies are all fighting for it. It's like one massive entertainment war. In fact, it's a war where content is your main weapon. And if you look at Blizzard and then you look at Overwatch, it's literally had no ammunition. It's like a big artillery cannon with no shells ready to go. It's like, oh, and then everybody else has got tons of shells and they're just firing away and they're winning the war. That's basically what's been going on. But now they've had a chance to reload, to rearm and get back into the war. But it's going to be hard because all their major competitors, they absolutely kill it with new content. And because they've been pumping content out for a while, it means that it's very hard to actually pull players away from other games, because you get this thing which is known as sunken cost fallacy. It happens in MMOs quite a lot, where if you've invested a ton of time into MMO A, you don't really want to play MMO B because all of your community friends and hundreds and thousands of hours are in community A, so it's hard to play in MMO A, so it's hard to play in MMO B, if you get where I'm going. So why would an Apex Legends player give up years of Apex gameplay and unlocks and God knows what to come and play Overwatch? That's the difficult thing. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe Overwatch's main priority isn't attracting players from Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, whatever. Maybe it's just trying to capture players that don't even play those games. We don't know. But the fact is, you need content. It is your main ammunition in this war, and hopefully Overwatch is about to get a bunch of content. Okay, let's end this video on why I'm optimistic, because I am optimistic for the game. Now, I know, okay, massive Overwatch simp, whatever. I'm an idiot who's covered the game since 2015. It's ridiculous. I've made thousands of videos, all of that stuff. But, and you can probably say, yeah, I'm on a shitload of copium. So, you know, just say it, whatever. I'll say it as well. But Overwatch, when it had no content, it still maintained a level of interest that I think was actually fairly good. But when new content turned up, interest massively spiked. And then it just completely dropped off the face of the earth because that content was burnt out. Now, you've got to remember the content, we were all aware of this content in advance. There was not really any massive shocks in this beta, apart from Orisa and Doomfist. So I think that severely reduced its lifespan. Or like, not its lifespan, but its ability to attract and retain player attention. But the copium is strong here, because if they can get that level of viewership on Twitch and on YouTube, every Overwatch YouTuber has got a ton more views than they used to. It's almost going back to the days of like 2018, early 2018, when there was still, you know, a lot of buzz around Overwatch happening. It feels like that again. And I'm hoping that if they can keep the content coming, if they can make great updates with the beta and keep giving us updates as to what's going on with the game, then I think it could, like, in a year's time, we could be sitting back going, you know what? Why were we all worried about Overwatch PvP? Of course, I've not spoken about PvE at all in this video, and PvE, I don't know nothing about PvE beyond what we've seen in the BlizzCon Online, where we've seen a couple of talents and stuff like that shown off. But yeah, I don't really know. I'd imagine that's something that's going to happen next year, just because they're not talking about it at all. I'd be very surprised if that happens this year. But I guess when that eventually launches, we can probably call the game Overwatch 2, because yeah, what we're playing at the moment is like Overwatch 2.0, Overwatch relaunched, Overwatch 1.1, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I've spoken up in this video. Let me know what you think about this, guys. This has kind of been my like overview reaction to the Overwatch beta. And is it Mission Impossible for Blizzard? I don't think it is. I think it's a difficult mission, but I think they've got a good foundation to start building on and then push themselves forward and then just start earning back player, I don't want to say respect, but earning back player playtime, really. I guess that's what it's all about. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've been Stylosa. You can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. And I will catch you lovely, lovely lot on the next video. Toodaloo.